Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Privileged and Confidential podcast. Today is a repeat guest, my good friend Tony, Professor T. Tony is the Senior Manager of Business Affairs at Disney's Vacation Club. Previously at Disney, he was the Senior Manager of Rights and Clearances at ABC News. He runs an Instagram and TikTok account called at the IP Professor as a way to create engaging and educational content about the world of IP. And most recently, he was an adjunct professor of entertainment law and IP at New York Law School. Tony, it's so great to chat with you today.
Francesca, it's always great seeing you.
Okay, so we met during COVID days and it's so funny, like I tell people, oh, I met my friends on the internet, and they're like, really? But during COVID, we couldn't meet in person and everyone was on their phones. So when did you start the IP Professor account? Was it during COVID or before?
It was during COVID, and as a matter of fact, it was like around the 2021 season, like right as we were starting to transition back into light in-person treatments. But it was right off the cusp of my second year of teaching at New York Law School. I kind of created it as an extension of my teaching in the classroom, and then ultimately it kind of blossomed and took a life of its own.
It's great. I think it's wonderful. I love how you've been blending the educational content and lifestyle, what it is to be an attorney or what it is to be a professor. So can we talk a little bit about the content creation piece? When we were doing it, I feel like there was a community of us that were just like, you know what, this is the future. We're going to be doing this, and it probably was frowned upon by some people, or at least snubbed. But now, it's 2025, 5 years in, you've built your platform, you've built your account. How has creating your platform helped your career and helped your life?
So in terms of a career, I think it's allowed me to connect with a lot more practitioners in the field. I mean, you are a great example of that. Casually just by creating content, a lot of our followers or a lot of our networks kind of crossed over. So as a result of it, just curiosity got the best of me, and all it takes is one click onto one's profile, and here I am virtually networking with you, with a ton of other trademark, copyright, IP-oriented lawyers. And I think that was the beauty from a professional perspective of doing the IP Professor all these years. Even to this day, I'm bridging and building these connections that essentially I now have a digital Rolodex of lawyers that if I ever want to refer a case, or if I need a consultation, or if I just want to collaborate with, I know who to go to. And then I think in the same way, personally, creating the IP Professor allowed me to have a voice. And I think that, we live already in a very oversaturated market with tons of podcasts and, tons of YouTube accounts and this and that and the other. But I think what sets everyone apart is the value that they bring to the table as a content creator. And for someone like myself, I wanted to kind of embody the lifestyle of Mr. Rogers and Bill Nye the Science Guy, but with the IP spin on it.
It's so
And,
great.
that's like the catchphrase, or at least like the motto that I try to hold on to as the identity of the account. And I'm very proud that I've been able to do that all these years, because I think at the end of the day, you want to create relatable content, not just for a niche audience like law students or lawyers, but you want to diversify it to the average Joe that doesn't know anything, not a lick about intellectual property. And I think I've been able to achieve that. So for that, I'm very grateful. And, the account keeps growing. Now that I'm in Orlando, I'm steps away from Disney World. I could find a fun way to even bring Disney into the fold with my discussions of intellectual property, just to show the point that intellectual property truly is everywhere, even in the theme parks that are steps away from my house.
And I also saw that you posted what's cool about your job, I think, in the cross intersection of content and being at Disney is we're in the AI world, and content includes protectable characters and intellectual property, but also we are in an AI world where it's easy to disseminate and create other IP. So we're overlapping with content creation, personal use, commercial use, whether or not it's fair use. It's all of these things are playing out in real time in front of our faces. So I saw that you posted the other day the AI of Spider-Man educating people on how this is an infringement. What do you find most interesting about living and practicing IP right now and living in an IP world right now with AI?
In both scenarios, practicing it and living in it, I am taking a deep appreciation about of how media are constantly evolving. And I just want to provide some perspective. I'm a communications major from Fordham University, and when I was in Fordham, I graduated in 2011. So from 2007 to 2011, media then were very different than what they are now. For context, X was Twitter then. Uh, Vine was around the corner. It had just come around in like 2011, 2012. And Instagram was a photo exclusive platform. Now we have TikTok, we have
Yeah.
Snapchat, we have Instagram Reels. Long form content is being applauded on all those platforms. YouTube is king. It was king then. It's even more popular now because of the monetization aspect of it. I mean, it is just evolving all around us. So I think that in the same vein, AI, which had a different perception back then, is now being perceived in a totally different light. And I would even go as far as to say AI, what the discussion that we were having about AI last year is very different than what it was now, because
Hmm.
AI last year was, oh my God, they're going to come after our jobs, while other people were saying not so fast. The discussion we're having today about AI is, oh my God, AI isn't going to be able to take over our jobs, but it's taking our intellectual property. It's taking it's theft of other people's content, and it doesn't know how to. It's not regulated, and so I honestly think that like that Spider-Man case or that Spider-Man video that I did comes fresh off the presses of Disney suing Midjourney for copyright infringement. Literally, you can search Olaf in the middle of a snowstorm and it will reproduce it exactly how it appears in
Wow.
Frozen. And I think that we're at this time from an intellectual property perspective where we already have laws regulating it, but it's not enough. It's inadequate to, I think, move the needle a little bit further. So case
Oh,
law is really going to be the name
100%.
of case law is really going to be the name of the game here, I think. And then ultimately, that's going to be the temporary band-aid that leads to long-term legislation.
And that's the thing, right? It's like I could spend so much time on the advocacy piece on how challenging it is for brand owners, even like set aside digital content, brand owners who are creating products, they go viral, they are getting knocked off in mass. What feels like overnight. It's a matter of if it's days, if not weeks or days at this point. And so, what are we doing, and how are we helping brand owners? We're telling them, oh, yep, UDRP. It'll take about a month, 2 months.
Right.
It'll cost you $5,000, or you can sue everybody, and
Yeah,
it's going to take a
exactly.
couple months, and we have to try to serve them, and even though they're using fake addresses, it's like, what are we even talking about? If this
Right.
is illegal, we should be able to take swift action. We are in a tech driven world. How are we not using technology to fight back? So that's what our firm does, is our that's our model, is if they're going to use technology to steal IP, we're going to use technology to fight back. So all
Right.
of our clients that work with us, we set up an AI portal that's scanning the internet, pulling in fakes. But then when we have to go out and fight, it's litigation versus takedowns versus cease and desist. And the big question is, how how can we modernize our laws to help lawyers and brands fight back more quickly?
Yeah.
It's not even that. I understand, like, it's expensive, and sometimes it's complex. We understand that, and cost is definitely an issue. But for me, what's most concerning is really like the speed, because sometimes the problem's bad enough where clients say, okay, I'm going to budget and I'm going to allocate for this, but it's the speed. So that's my little rant about where we are with the law today.
Listen, I think that at the end of the day, it took a while for society to catch up with trends. And I think, a great example of that is name, image, and likeness. It's always been around. Midler versus Ford, I was just telling a student the other day, Midler versus Ford is the godfather case of all personality right legislation that has ever existed in this country. And out of that has come really shoddy laws out of different states that have addressed personality right protection both at the living celebrity level or the living entity level or at the post-mortem level. And even then, We don't have a federal law that regulates personality rights. We have inconsistent terms with postmortem personality rights from each of the states, if they even have it at all.
Yeah.
And the only way it got public attention from a national perspective was when collegiate athletes rose up together and said, hey, CBS, you're using my likeness constantly for March Madness promos. I want in. And there have been very vocal advocates of collegiate athletes being paid talking about this issue. And finally, we're seeing some movement from the federal level protecting name, image, and likeness rights. We're finally seeing some interest from the state level protecting name, image, and likeness. And it took years for that to happen.
Yeah.
If that happened with something that has been, a very, very long, drawn out, decades long issue, I certainly see that as happening in the future for AI eventually. I don't know when, but I hope to God it happens sooner rather than later.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it will. And like I literally think about this, oh, I should just, get more involved with the advocacy groups. I'm getting more involved from the legal organizations, but I wish I could just go down to DC and just yell at
Yeah,
everyone.
right. That's right, exactly.
Shake my New Jersey fist. But no, it's really interesting, and I think it's cool like being at the forefront and having this platform to talk about these issues because especially for clients, they rely on you, and it's like, okay, here I have this wildly complicated problem, like go fix it. Like that's what we get paid to do, is just like fix it. And it would be a really cool world if the law was such that it made our jobs a lot easier. I also think people would like lawyers more because like this stuff it's so complex, it's so time consuming. You need teams of people. And, if we can be quicker and better, then bills would go down. And I think clients would like their lawyers more.
That's right, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, but no, it's so cool. Thank you for coming on today. Like, can you give us a quick, like maybe 30-second update with where you're living and what is next for you and what you're on the lookout for?
So I'm in Orlando right now. I had to relocate for the new role with Disney Vacation Club, which has been amazing, but still part of the Disney family nonetheless. The work has been awesome. So I guess, I'm hopeful and thankful for the role that I play within Disney. In terms of the future, as you had alluded to, Francesca, I'm not teaching at New York Law School anymore. That was where I was previously teaching. So I'm a bit of a free agent. So if you're a law school watching this, give me a call. But either way, I'm really excited for what's to come with the IP Professor, more content to come. I will say I'm working on some fun projects that I'm not at liberty to share just yet, but let's just say that I think the IP Professor brand will start escaping the four corners of a phone. So I'm very excited for what's to come there.
So cool. Thank you. And then so online, you're at the IP Professor on Instagram. Where else can people connect with you?
You
Where
can
else
connect.
can people can I don't know if I said that right. Where else can people connect with
Yeah, of course.
you?
You can also find me also on TikTok. I'm there as well. And if you're on LinkedIn, I'm available there as well. You can connect with me. I'm under my government name, Anthony Iliakostas, but you can check me out, connect with me there. Happy to chat with you about anything and everything, especially if you're a law student looking to get some mentorship or some guidance. I love mentoring and offering any sound advice that I possibly can, especially if you're trying to get your foot into the intellectual property space.
Amazing. Tony, it was so great to catch up with you today. Thank you, everyone who watches the show. We're here every week at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
See ya.